Welcome to the most visited place in the landscape of the American imagination, our inexhaustible capacity to look away. The Missing Generation is a love letter to a whole generation of survivors of the early part of the AIDS epidemic. And by survivors, I mean not only people who have been living with HIV or AIDS for over 30 years, but I also use the term survivors to include everyone who lived through that horrific time in history. I spent almost 3 years creating the work. The first year I got to travel across the country and I recorded 75 hours of oral history interviews with longtime survivors. I was deeply struck at how each person was saying to me, "You are the first person in 30 years who's asked me these questions. No one wants to hear about this." I feel like that's really the American way, is just to pretend that difficult things don't exist. I'm asking audiences to show up and witness and hold and attend and attune ourselves to survivors and the whole spectrum of human experience. Yes, it's about unthinkable horror and loss and grief, but then it's also joy and the most gloriously, gorgeously human instincts for love and connection and grace of the people that I got to talk to. And ultimately, we leave with full hearts. Our hearts have been cracked open, but they're fuller than they were when we arrive at the theater.